So I'm drawing a vacuum, and look down in the sight glass, and I'll try to zoom in on it. Let's see if we could get it boiling up. If you could see any popping, or you see that little boiling? Let me get that out of your way. Now look for some little explosions popping up on the face of the glass. I may have, oh, there was a little something. See that? See that? So what that is way down in the bottom of the receiver dryer. That's a long straw going all the way to the bottom. And I have the vacuum pump on the high side and the low side. And in the bottom of the receiver dryer, there's, I don't know, say a 1/4 inch of oil. And there's moisture trapped in that oil. And a little bit of refrigerant too. And it's actually bubbling and boiling and foaming up and exploding. And it's popping up that long straw all the way up to the surface of the glass right there. Let's see if the other UV light shows it better. This is a different UV light. And that blinds it out too. So that's what's going on in the circuit. So basically, if this container was clear, what you would see is you would see a glass jar. Think of a mayonnaise jar, and put a lid on it. And at the very bottom, there would be this oil, thick liquid at the bottom. And when you draw a vacuum on the top, the oil would literally be bubbling. Trapped refrigerant gas and moisture in the oil would be literally popping out of there. And depending on the content of the moisture, the heat of the surface of the oil and the metal container, and how fast you could draw down the vacuum, you can actually draw the vacuum so fast, and if there was enough moisture trapped in that oil, the oil would literally take up the whole container and fill the whole entire container up, looking something like whipped cream, and all bubbling up and going all the way to the top, trying to make its way back to the hoses, coming all the way back. As you can see, this one doesn't go directly. This is actually going to the line behind it, going to the condenser. But this line here, if this high side fitting was connected right there, that is the liquid line going out to the receiver dryer right there. So if I was able to vacuum it fast enough, I could literally, and there was a lot of moisture and still refrigerant trapped under the layer of refrigerant oil in the bottom, say it was a 1/4 inch or so, it would bubble up like a foam. It would travel down this tube, and I can literally suck a little bit of oil out while I was performing a recovery. But because my lines, this one is really high up, this one's far away on the high side on the condenser, it won't suck out any oil. And you have your sight glass right here, and when you start your vacuum, you can meter it down so it starts sucking slower if you want. And if you do see any little bubbles or anything popping by your sight glass, you can choke down your vacuum or your recovery. The same thing on recovery. So that's what I'm performing here. Just get rid of the contaminated refrigerant. This system goes low every 2 years or so. That's what the story is on this one. I see a little bit of glow. Let's see if the camera can catch it. You see that glow right there behind the clutch in the coil? The shaft seal on the compressor. So that's it's a slow leak from the shaft seal, and I still got to go around the rest of the system. Now this is a replacement. They replaced the switch before, they replaced this switch, they replaced the dryer, this line got replaced before, and oh, and the condenser has been replaced before. So these are items that were replaced before, and most likely, other than that leak there, since this is an old original hose with the original Benz paper sticker that was right here, that's original. These old rubber hoses become porous and slowly bleed off refrigerant without leaving any oil trace. They could be nice and dry, but yet refrigerant will go through them with no oil trace. Everyone goes, oh, they leak. You see an oil trace, that means they're leaking. They could leak with no oil trace. Oil is not always your clue of finding a leak. Okay, I'm gonna get on with this, and we're getting down there rather rapidly. And yeah, that's it. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next video. And remember, 2 really good UV lights, because you guys might be new here and didn't see these before. These are different wavelengths. The black one is 365 nanometers, and the silverish looking one is 400 nanometers. 4 different dyes. All right guys, see ya.